Hello everyone, it is I, the Vibe Kage, coming to you with a brand new what if. Also not really brand new, but something that I've had, fucking around in my head for a little bit. Something that I've rewritten a little bit. Lifeline by Keizo featuring Black Tiger Sex Machine and Point North. Hey, motherfuckers can do it! I love the song. Anyway, it's what we vibing to in the background. And alone in the midnight surface. Fuck, I fucked up. Voice cracked. Dying. Anyway. Oh god. Let's just go. I think you guys. Oh, fan art. Shit. Yeah. I know y'all like the Deku second one, and I think you can see where this is going. Drinking some water, by the way. Water is good for the body. Drink it. Anyway. Or don't. This is where our story changes ever so slightly. Yes, Deku is diagnosed quirkless, and because of that, Mama and Papa decide to, yeet the kid out of their existence. However, I wanted to change two things. Two things very, done. Not really done, but how it whole works is who the parents of Izuku Midoriya is. He technically won't have the parents of Inko and Hasashi. These other people, you see, they were part of this underground villain organization, and they were really banking on, a kid with a powerful quirk to, trade off for their debts, since they got caught in some products that slowly deteriorated their minds and kind of made them, batshit crazy. Because they became batshit crazy, they pretty much lost any sense of morals that they had in them, and because of that, they were like, okay, for more of this product, we will give you our son. Well, whatever the quirk kid can have, sure. Quirkless kid, you'd say. You see, in this world, not only is it uncommon for quirkless people to exist, in fact, only 99% of the world, they're quirked. Only 1% has no quirks. And believe me, they are trying to dwindle that number down. They're going Salem witch trials almost. Almost like the Eldians, if you want a Attack on Titans reference. Especially because we're going to be going into eating some people soon. Well, somebody. Sort of. We'll get to that soon. You see, these candidates pretty much get killed, murked, organs harvested for not having enough. And the guy pretty much has no real use for this kid. So, when this fanatic quack doctor, something about quirk singularity bullshit, something didn't really add up for him. About the quirkless genome, how could it still exist after all this time? But don't they know that the human race is going to be evolving too strong to the point of extinction? Where wars of their overpowerful quirks and unstable children, it is sure to cause devastation throughout the whole world. So, what could be, the solution? Well, as fucked up as it sounds, they're going to start the quack had this obsession to resurrect somebody who was killed in a fight long ago. It cost the life of, the symbol of peace too at the same time, but thankfully, just before his death, he was able to, pluck out a hair, hand it to someone. This ninth user was, surprised, especially because he didn't really, know why. All Might would just tell him to eat his hair And, something about an old man teaching him the way. The scarfed, tired sleeping bag individual kind of didn't really have a choice. He thought his quirk would be useful against this monstrosity, but apparently not. Something that All For One had done to himself. See, he had, experimented so many times on people, breaking their bodies and reforming them, and then he started to add it on to himself, thus creating this weird creature. All For One's face split into two different things. One half of his human face, think of Saikon and Ukon when they have that curse mark stage activated. In their second stage, one has a horn, like on the side, like, and then it's like covered by hair. Think of it like they have a monster quirk face on half that splits into a second face, second head, a double-headed individual. He has 4 arms and, also 4 legs. It's really disturbing how the human body mutated and changed into such a thing. But regardless, it happened. Now, this fanatic doctor would, take this quirkless boy, something that he viewed as a miracle, for what he had a theory of. See, for some reason, despite, the skull, containing the brain, the chest containing the heart, well, pretty much the abdominal part in general with all the organs, crushed and destroyed beyond any regenerative quirk that was existing at the time, somehow there was something unique about the body left behind. It's almost as if the quirk kept itself preserved in its hands. I think you know where we're going with this. Now, Deku's abandonment doesn't start here. You see, first, before Deku is fed any of these fingers, he is first put in a embryonic sac. We're going to add some Kawaki storyline details here in first. That would contain a mixture of quirked fluids and the spinal fluid of All For One that was replicated through various experiments. This song is Late Night Drive by Zdead. Fucking love it. It's such a good vibe. Anyway, as the story continues on, you see, this is where some changes would happen throughout our MHA timeline. You see, with Aizawa being the 9th successor of One For All, he started to get vestiges of, something very dangerous. And that is the fact that, the first user told Aizawa that right now, he is the singularity point. The next person who gains this quirk will be the last user. And, well, they have to fit a certain stipulation. Oh god, what is the stipulation, Aizawa thought? They have to be quirkless. Aizawa, kinda nervously asks the user, how the hell is he supposed to find someone that's people who are in hiding? Very good question. That's not for me to answer. Godspeed. I think you know where this is going. And if you don't, look who's right next to Deku. Now, while Deku is encased in, the spinal fluid mixture of All For One, there are about a few other kids there who failed. One of them was the grandson of Nana Shimura, who would have been Tenko. And also his sister was in there, but they both failed to adapt and fuse with the embryonic fluid, so they died. Which also had this other unique result. You see, as every kid seemed to die in the embryonic fluid, the fluid would seemingly glow red. as it was almost like it was feeding on the kid's energy, trying to overtake the body right then and there. But the bodies could not contain the small percentage of All For One's body. Nah, not his spirit, his soul, no, it was too much for their little bodies to take. However, Izuku twitched, convulsed, and calmed, stabilizing. He soon started to gain these dark markings all over his body. His eyes suddenly opened wide, and then the markings disappeared. His eyes rolled back into the skull as he falls to unconsciousness. Success. But, unbeknownst to Dr. Ujiko, the soul's cost here, the other 14 children who were experimented on with this, their life energy, their vitality, their strength, seemingly all converged into one person, the sole candidate, Izuku Midoriya. Giving him more resistance to what later to become One For All. And All For... No, not One For All. All For One. That way Izuku's mind can still be retained, in a sense. That way he doesn't succumb to the influence of him too easily, anyway. Now, we time skip. It's been 10 years. Dr. Ujiko has, marveled at Izuku's progress. Nothing too bad. He's been able to draw upon the black markings. He labeled his quirk as tribal. Nothing too extreme. And, well, he happened to go to school with this one blonde little girl. She was a loudmouth, and, she had this certain attitude that Izuku couldn't help but to admire. Something about her saying that she's gonna be, the first quirkless hero. She's so much of a badass, she doesn't need it. That's why she knows so many martial arts and can beat anyone's ass. She pretty much has. She's kicked so many guys older than her who had quirks, and she's known as a brawler. Which, Izuku honestly is just like, woof. Woof. Okay, jokes aside. Now her name is Mitsuki. And this timeline, think of it like this. Kachan, Katsuki Bakugo, was born first. So, you get it? His mother died during childbirth. So he names his daughter after his mom, Mitsuki. That way, it's another joke on how Deku could fuck Bakugo's mom without actually fucking Bakugo's mom. So this is technically Bakugo's daughter, not actually Bakugo. Very misleading, I know, but ta-da! Now this is where other things will be changing throughout our timeline. Mainly being how she reacts to Izuku. One time when she was just tired after her own workout session, at the gym there. It was late at night. She happens to just walk home. She thought it was a good, cool down just to, jog. When something caught her attention. She saw that there was still Izuku. He was still in the library. She asked him, why is he here? He's saying, oh, his caretaker won't be here. He had a surgery to do, so, until he gets out, I'm just stuck here. So I just read, your caretaker? What about your parents? Don't have them. What do you mean? Oh, I was abandoned. He said I was in an orphanage. He took me in ever since. Said I reminded him a lot about his grandson when he died from some sort of villain attack long ago. I don't know. Didn't really care. Well, that's kind of rude. Izuku just looked at her, saying, well, what are you doing here? Don't you have your own family? She kind of twitches her eyebrow. Not eyebrow, but her eye twitches a little bit at the snarty remark. She looks at him like, oh yeah? Well, I was just working out. Izuku's just like, right. Your ambition, right? She's just like, my what? The thing you keep on shouting when you beat every single guy that tries to fight you? Realization clicks, and she's saying, she clenches her fist. Yeah? You're gonna make fun of me? Izuku's just like, and what would benefit me from doing that? She looks at him inquisitively, asking him, what the hell are you on? Izuku's just like, okay, I'll say it in a way you could probably understand me. I don't want to make fun of your dream. It is a good one. Gambare. Mitsuki-chan. Now, she blushes a little bit because there's only been one person who's ever believed in her, and that was her dad. Especially since, he's a pro hero. The pro hero Ground Zero. And he didn't really care the fact that his daughter was born quirkless. In fact, his dad is just like, hey, come the time for the UA entrance exams, you can just take the recommendations on my part. We've been training you since you've been born. Quirked or not, you're still a fucking badass because you got my blood going through you. But this is the first time anyone like her age actually didn't make fun of her. Though, made fun of her dream, but made fun of her intelligence in a sense. The slight blush becomes a scowl as she looks at him, as she's saying, are you making fun of me? Izuku looks at her, and just like, no. Now, one thing that he mentions is that he tells her there is one person that if, she's serious about, he's aware that who her father is and respect on him, not just because of his quirk, but his also combat prowess. I think people have mistaken him more as a hothead, but no, considering his type of quirk, he actually balances strategy really well. Sure, he wears his, emotions on his sleeve too much, but, whatever. She looks at him like, oh yeah, and what are you gonna be? Aren't you gonna be a hero? Izuku chuckles a little bit as he's saying, yeah, I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do in this world. Izuku just does something that she blushes at right away. Damn, I have mucus and I hate it right now because my nose was just fine just a few minutes ago. So, anyway, this is what she blushes at. You see, Izuku takes off his shirt and then he activates his tribal tattoos. His nails glow black and long, and they are sharp as fuck. Izuku looks at her and saying, when you have a quirk that pretty much makes you look like a villain, there's no way in hell anyone wants your help. Now, I don't know about you with your quirklessness, I don't really care, but, still, a pretty female hero who's strong is still something admirable. Quirk or not. He gives a few examples. He gives the fact that, Miss Joke's quirk isn't combat, heavy. It's good distraction-wise. So she makes up with it with her knowledge on boxing. Ryuk, who does have a destructive quirk, she actually focuses, more on strategy and how to use her quirk more efficiently. He's saying one of the most recent uppercomers called Mirako. He's read, her file on her through the psychic thing. Damn it. Sports festivals. He's paid attention, especially because, his caretaker is a quirk doctor, so he has a tendency to make sure he knows everything about quirks in human bodies, despite him being young. I think more or less he just wants me to be a quirk doctor. But he always does ask my opinion on some things. Exactly like, what would be the good counter to so-and-so of these pro heroes? which I think is weird, but I tell him. He tells the pro heroes, they thank him for his weaknesses, advice, and they improve, so apparently. All I get is just like a new toy or something, but it's meaningless to me. She looks at him again, like, the fuck are you on? Izuku just sighs as he looks at her. He honestly does not know how to explain this better. It's just like, you have family, yes? You go with family now. Me, no family. So no need to worry. You go away now. As Izuku's tribal tattoos disappear, he looks normal. He puts on his shirt as he slings his bag over his shoulder. She's saying, where are you going? Izuku yet again, kinda like a dick this time, saying, and that's your concern, why? As, she gets pouty face, which Izuku can't help but to think is somewhat adorable. Yet, a strange, bitchy chill vibe went down his spine that he couldn't help but adore. Now, this is where something else, you could say would be happening. Mitsuki in this timeline is kinda feeling something she's never felt before. Sure, there's been some guys who've given her snidey remarks, and then some that, say at least she can be some sort of trophy wife or something like that. It annoys the fuck out of her because she wants to kick their ass. So she does. She hates the fact that people underestimate her, but something about Izuku is different. Yes, he's kind of being a belittling dick, but at the same time, he's not. He did just say he believed in her, or something like that. Complimented her dream, at least. At least didn't write her off. Well, and then this weird thing that he said, like, him not having a family, so it shouldn't matter? And the fuck? Caretaker uncle? She's trying to figure out why he's saying this all to her. Which, Izuku in his mind thinks, I did kind of overshare. Oh well. Izuku about to step out the door. She's saying, wait, I have a question for you. Izuku raises an eyebrow and saying, yeah? What does your quirk do? Izuku just chuckles. As he says, it's pretty much like an all-around strength enhancer. He modifies his hand again. Black nails appear, the tribal markings. As he's saying, in this form, he has 100 times strength multiplier from his base form. Which, she's just like, what the? Yeah, it just requires that I eat a lot. It just burns through a lot of stored up energy. Now, he powers off as he's saying, there's also a time limit to how much I can hold that before my body starts to strain itself. Now, I'll say this once. I don't feel the need to be a hero because I would have to actually want to care about saving people. People who I don't know. When the people who I was supposed to trust, right from birth, just sold me off like I was nothing. So, I don't know what your life story is, and I don't really care. I know everyone has something, but, I'm just fine with this. I've noticed one thing. While my caretaker does look after me, I know that he has his own interests rather than mine at heart. Once I fill my purpose for him, he'll probably just discard me, just like how he did to his other 14 kids. This sends a chill down Mitsuki's spine. She's just saying, what? What are you talking about? Izuku's just like, exactly. So many things happen throughout the world that you're not aware of, are you? And you want to enter it without a quirk. Very interesting. Now, as tattoos come off, he looks at her. He says this: I more or less just want to live my life how I want to. I have some tendencies that some people would call unsavourable. You know, she raises an eyebrow at this. Is she saying, what, are you some sort of pervert? Izuku chuckles as he's saying, not that. Nothing like that. No. As, he looks at his hands as he's saying, there's something that comes along with my quirk. A desire, a hunger. Something very, very frowned upon in this world. A taboo, if you will. In order for me to even get stronger faster, without my quirk actually needing to take too much of a toll, it would even cause me to heal faster if I eat people. She takes a step back, sensing that he's not lying, ultimate seriousness in his eyes. You're a monster. I like this song. But, this kind of work. As, Izuku saying, oh yes, turns out my quirk has this unfortunate habit of, unique cannibalistic tendencies that seem to pop up. My caretaker feeds me raw steaks more often than not to keep me at bay, so I know he's cautious around me. He doesn't let me really associate with many people. He's saying, I have a phone with only 2 numbers in it. His and his assistant's. Nothing else, nothing more. He looks at her as he's saying, now, they are desperately trying to think of some sort of medication that could push away these little tendencies of mine that I have. When I look at somebody and I get this just annoying sensation, a gnawing feeling in my gut to just tear right into them. Something primal deep within me, a hunger. It reacts to every single heartbeat, every single quirk. And the stronger the quirk, the bigger the hunger. So, like I said, when you have a villainous quirk like mine, I'm pretty sure no one wants me to be a hero. Especially when there's a risk that, the person saving them might eat them if they have a strong enough quirk. He chuckles as he could see the fear in Mitsuki's eyes. As, she says something that surprises him. And Izuku is not the only one who's shocked. Mitsuki herself has no real idea why. You can call it that heroic drive inside of her, because she sees something in Izuku's eyes, this lingering depth of pain deep within him, a loneliness that, despite his harsh words, it still sounds like a kid who needs a hug. So, she boldly states this. Then, she points at him. Ow. When I, did the motion of pointing, I, threw my arm out too, and it popped my elbow. Just fuck. My bad. Okay, one more time. Mitsuki, she sticks out her arm and points at Izuku, saying, then this is what's gonna happen. Izuku raises an eyebrow. She's saying, you and me are gonna become pro-heroes, and you're gonna be my first person, you're gonna be the first person I save. Izuku raises an eyebrow yet again. He's saying, excuse me? And he's saying, your quirk doesn't make you who you are. You make what your quirk is. Izuku's just like, dear God. Was that one of those All Might sayings that I've heard so much about? That great symbol of peace who died in a fight? Yeah, that's some symbol. Dying on the job. Kinda defeats the purpose of a hero if you're supposed to save somebody, aren't you? Can't save somebody when you're dead. You know, she punches Izuku. Izuku just takes the hit, you know, eats it, takes it, just like pop. You know, her hand throbs in pain. As you know, she's used to punching things, but the moment she hit Izuku's body, you know, it felt like she just punched titanium and her arm was made out of pretzels. So it felt like it damn near shattered in her fist. The numbness is just unbearable. Nova Hotel. Monsters by All Time Low featuring Black Bear. Good vibe. Okay. Now, anyway, back to the what if. Like I was saying. And I have like a few minutes before I have to go back to work. Fuck. Do all the monsters come out at night? I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Anyway, back to the what if. Like I was saying, in this timeline, it gets kind of confusing. You see, Mitsuki looks at Deku and saying, "You can stop with that fucking tough guy act. I get it enough from my dad." Izuku's just like, "The fuck? You're hurting." Izuku's just like, "Hold up. Wait a minute." You know, her eyes look filled with this weird empathy that he's never really noticed in anyone else's. You know, such compassion that it's almost sickening to him. You know, so sweet that he'll get diabetes. I'm not even sorry for that joke. I have a dark sense of humor, so it's funny to me. So, anyway, back to the what if. You know, Izuku's just looking at her. Hold up. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. No. My quirk makes me want to eat people. And then she just states something right there. Yeah, and you clearly say it makes you want to. That means you haven't, which means you're choosing not to eat people, right? So, that's simple. I'll be there to make sure you don't eat people, thus saving you from yourself. You know, she smiles triumphantly. Izuku's just like, this is only the logic of the number 3 hero's daughter. You know, she smiles as she's saying, "You're damn right it is." And then she's just like, "Hold up. Are you calling me stupid?" Izuku smiles at that as he's saying, "I see you learn quickly, actually." Huh. You know, she actually tries to punch Izuku again, and then she stops before she remembers how that felt. You know, Izuku's just like, interesting. You know, for what it's worth, as, you know, he stands up, but, you know, he places a hand on her head, which causes her to, you know, tense up for a second, as, you know, she's not used to this. You know, her dad doesn't really do physical contact. Her mom does, but nothing too bad. Now, when Izuku ruffles her hair, it causes a slight blush on her face. She looks at Izuku with inquisitive eyes, and he just says something that surprises her. Izuku looks at her, like, deadpan face, and says something so fucking strange that, you know, she couldn't help but to question. Izuku's just like, you know, something tells me, you know, just how we just met right now, and how this is gonna go. That quirkless thing of yours probably won't stay. You know, Izuku's just like, not from what I'm sensing. As, you know, she's questioning what he means, as, you know, Izuku's just saying, "I gotta go." Now, he's gone. Like, he quickly just walks out. She tries to follow him, and when she gets outside the hall, she doesn't see him anywhere. But what she does see is her father, with the number 2 pro hero, Eraserhead. Both with this weird grin. Now, she asks, did they see the boy who just, you know, came out through here? You know, they're just like, huh? You know, she's just like the boy with green hair. She was, but how the, as, you know, they both raised an eyebrow at her. I'm just like, you okay? You haven't been overdoing it in the gym, have you, sweetheart? You know, she blushes as she's saying, Dad, not in front of heroes. You know, Bakugo chuckles. He's saying, that's my little firecracker. As, you know, she blushes. As Aizawa says this, so, according to your dad, you want to be a hero, right? Yeah. That's why he's trained me in so many kick-ass techniques. Not only can I prove myself in a fight against people with quirks, I've also learned a lot of different techniques. You know, different martial arts. You know, she takes a few different fighting stances. She is 10 guys, so chill. In case you're wondering, what the fick? Now, this is what Aizawa tells her. You know, something that he told Bakugo, that Bakugo was just nanu. So, this is something that he tells her. As, you know, he plucks out a hair. She raises an eyebrow as he hands it to her. As with, you know, the straightest face he could ever muster. You know, unlike All Might, who said it with a bloody smile on his face. He looks at her and saying, well, if you eat this, you can inherit my power. You know, her jaw drops. You know, she looks at Aizawa like he's the dumbest motherfucker on the earth who got knocked upside the head way too many goddamn times. A Born This Way by Bad Hope. Now, this is where things kind of annoy her a little bit. You know, her dad, Flash, takes a photo of her reaction. Aizawa chuckles after that part, as you know, she's saying, wait, this is a joke, you're fucking kidding me, aren't you, Dad? As, you know, he's saying, language, I learned it from you, Dad. You know, he's just like, yeah. You know, the two then laugh a little bit, little father-daughter moment, both being potty mouths. Now, Aizawa sighs as he's just saying, troublesome. Now, look, as he explains to her the secret of One for All. Now, something that if Aizawa would have used his eraser quirk on, he would have seen that Izuku was, you know, just right there in the hallway. Just invisible. Perfectly hearing everything. Because he could sense One for All coming. And he smiled as just like how he thought. You know, past the point of singularity. Just like All for One was. Except he forced himself and mutated his body. Unfortunate. Looks like we're going to be enemies. As, you know, he walks off. Time skip 4 years. A change has happened to Izuku that he did not really expect. You see, during the 4-year time skip, in the second year, Dr. Ujiko dies. How, you may ask? You see, there was this certain individual who had this plague doctor mask, who, you know, placed a hand on Dr. Ujiko when Dr. Ujiko tried to kidnap his daughter. Now, he did not enjoy the fact that someone tried to take his precious little arie. Now, because of this, yes, he had to go to jail, and the little girl is now in the custody of the Pro Heroes. So, Izuku also knows of this little girl. You know, it's kind of strange. Her father is responsible for the death of his caretaker, his quote-unquote grandpa, as the documents had it. Well, in a sense, this is the daughter of his hero. Which, you know, he has this protective vibe over. You know, Arie, in a sense, is like his little sister. You see, while Izuku was old enough to live on his own, and he pretty much did, he kinda made a deal. This is Shake by Zedid and Jazz? I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm not gonna lie. He made a deal with the Pro Heroes, He will watch over this little girl. They'll give him funding, and he'll, go to this UA thing, considering who his considering who Dr. Ujiko was to him. One person who not only asked for his advice on how to train pro heroes in their quirk abilities and usage. He also was somebody who, in a sense, knew everything that Dr. Ujiko did. Everything. Now, keep in mind, the media doesn't know why Chisaki killed Dr. Ujiko. It's just like, man got crazy and killed Doctor. No one knows why. He was a beloved doctor, but Izuku knew. He did. And, during the capture of Chisaki, he did tell Overhaul that, in a sense, for freeing him, he'll make sure that his daughter's safe. As Chisaki, he saw the look in Izuku's eyes, and he could tell this boy was experimented on. They did something to him. Oh, like they were trying to do to my daughter. Got it. So he didn't really argue with it. Mom died too, which they would be in this timeline. She rewounded the mother back. So yeah. But Overhaul, who could restructure some things, was able to, and it pained him to do it because he had to, in a sense, destroy his daughter's hands, and then reset them to stop her quirk from activating. That wasn't until Aizawa was there and pretty much helped, something that would go along with time. You see, while Katsuki was declared a late bloomer and her quirk superpower, she learned that she can only handle about 3% throughout the 4-year time skip, and it annoyed her. That it wasn't until, she was told she is the 10th user after all, so she should take some pride in the fact that, what took years to cultivate is coming to her rather fast, honestly. She smiles, but she also kind of frowns because, she knows she hasn't been able to talk and train with Izuku like how they used to it. Ever since he had to take care of that little girl, which, she does ask her dad and Aizawa, her sensei, how is Izuku taking care of, a kid? Like, how is dad like for him? She chuckles. But, in a sense, she also is kind of curious on how Izuku's holding up. He went from losing to one person who did care for him to taking responsibility of taking care of somebody else, which makes so much drama in her head that she's just like, it must be some shitty fanfic writing. Which, hurtful, but fourth wall awareness is so close to her. Her intellect is that high, but she thinks she's insane when she thinks like that. So she does not realize she is close to super sanity, but she does not understand the true cuspids of it. Now, Izuku, on the other hand, does kind of understand that, shit just happens. Let it go. Now, this is where one other thing I'm going to, just add into the mix. When Izuku and Mitsuki meet again at the UA entrance exam, she was surprised to find out that he was also on the, recommendations list. Ow! Fuck up on my shoulder. And he was there to do the same test as her. Izuku smiled at her as he's saying, so, how are you doing here? How's the new superpower doing? As she smiles and blushes awkwardly as she's saying, it's coming along. She loses her blush when she gains snarky smirk and saying, so how's dad life doing? Izuku chuckles as he's saying, well, she feels more or less like a little sister to me. But I understand what you're trying to do. Though, I gotta ask this once. Do you really think someone who just recently got their quirk can beat, me? She chuckles as he's saying, oh, you mean someone who didn't even think they were gonna be a hero? What changed? Izuku's just like, well, as awkward as this might sound to you, she looks at him like, the fuck is he going with this? Izuku just looks at her with a straight face and saying, when he, the guy who pretty much let him become on his own, the guy who pretty much killed his caretaker, allowing Izuku to live freely, to him, that man is a hero for setting Izuku free. He's finally able to, live on his own. He's not under the watchful eye of some man who restricts his contact. In fact, he has somebody that, actually makes him happy. Makes him feel wanted in a sense. The little girl might be a handful sometimes, and her obsession with candy apples is beyond him, but, whatever. She giggles at the fact that he's smiling and thinking of a child so fondly. As, Izuku catches her smirk and then asks her a question that she wasn't really, prepared for. As he's saying, what? Were you afraid that she was going to call you mommy and that's why you stopped training with me? As, she's just like, oh, wait, no, no, about that, I just, no, it was just, I thought you were gonna be busy, and, fuck. She sighs, and she, frowning, hangs her head down saddeningly, defeated at the remark, as then she gains, a quick picture in her head of little Arie calling her mom, and, that means she would be with Izuku and Izuku's dad, and then that goes into the tangent of them being married, and then all the stuff that married couples do. Like the kinky shit in the bedroom, and in the sofa, and in the stairway, in the shower, in the school, in the back of a car. And then she has to quickly snap out of her thoughts, because Izuku's just like, hey, yo, you good? You getting red. Your nose is bleeding a little bit. He hands her a tissue. She takes it, slaps his hand away, just like, I'm fine. Just fucking hot outside. Izuku just raises an eyebrow as he's saying, huh. Okay then. I'll see you inside. As, she's just like, God damn it. As, she smashes her head into a pillar. As she's saying, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it. How the hell was I? Oh, god damn it, I'm such a spaz. She's angry at herself for getting so flustered like that, so easily, too. And now, something that she didn't really expect. This one girl with black hair, her hair is also in a ponytail, taps her on the shoulder. She jumps up and yelps. She's, was quick to charge her full cowling at 3%, ready to punch. The red sparks, was brilliantly around her. The girl quickly is just like, hold up. Are you okay? You might suffer some brain damage, and that's not really good right before an important test. Mitsuki sighs as she looks at this girl. She's saying, yeah, it's just, the guy who was just here, almost just like, was he your boyfriend? Mitsuki's just saying, no! She gets beat red. She's saying, he's just a guy from school, and, he and I are, she pauses. She thinks about it. I don't know. We were close to being friends, and then, he got a kid, and then I kind of just walked away, because I didn't know how to deal with that. Mom was just like, wait, he got a girl pregnant? And she's just like, oh, wait, no, fuck. No, like, this one girl lost her dad, and, well, somehow he ended up taking care of her or something. I don't know the details too much. I didn't really want to ask him about it. It was probably a lot for him to handle, and I didn't think he would, talk to me about it. This girl with her black hair just places her hand on her shoulder saying, it's okay. As, she's saying, it shows that you care about your friend. She sighs as he's saying, yeah, I guess. She asked him this. She asked Mitsuki this. So, was he mad when you saw him, or did he act like nothing was wrong? You know, she looks at her inquisitively, and she's saying pretty much like nothing was wrong. Why? Well, that's your answer. Clearly, he's not mad at you. If he still talks to you so fondly. Mitsuki blushes as she's just like, you think so? Mm-hmm. So, she then says this with a slight, thirst in her, voice. Is he single? So, this kind of sets off Mitsuki saying, back off. As, Momo giggles. It's no surprise, it's fucking Momo. Momo giggles at her, saying, oh my, so you do have a crush on him. No! Shut up! As, she storms off into the, building as Momo laughs. As she's saying she can't wait to set these two up together. As she squeals at how cute they were. As, she felt bad for spying, but, her gossip sense just radiated and oozed out in this direction. So, binoculars and sonar equipment, to pick up the conversation. The whole juicy details on how snarky Izuku is. She is tempted to get some of that. But, overall, she can tell. The blonde girl has it bad for him. So, she's just gonna have fun poking the bear. And teasing Izuku to see how he reacts. Hopefully he's willing to play a little bit. She is also wondering on how this kid will, play an impact on this. What if the kid, catches on to what she's doing and, just ruins any chances for fun. Which, she'll take a big risk as she just happily strides into the UA entrance exams. Yeah. I'm gonna have to end it here because I have to go back to work. I know it's not a full hour, but it's close enough. So, I hope you guys enjoy. What if Deku was abandoned?